Hello, we are recording and hopefully you guys, I'm pressing buttons, which is sending me back. Okay, so today I'm talking about Instagram stories because many of you in this mastermind are either not using the platform or you're a little bit confused as to how it can help your business, how to use the platform, and that is what I'm here to give you an overview on today. I want to make sure that at the very minimum, we have our Instagram profile set up and optimized. So if people were to find us, we don't need to worry too much about strategy at this point, but if people were to find us, they could tag us, and we should be checking our Instagram platform periodically for those mentions, for those tags, because we have the option to reshare, which can boost visibility, boost engagement, potentially boost sales for our company, especially those of you who are already visible, meaning you have a podcast platform or you're being guests on podcasts or radio shows. If you're an event speaker, I know some of you are, you should be sharing with the Instagram audience what it is that you're doing. So this is just a very basic Instagram stories training. I want you to post questions in the comments of our Raising Influence Mastermind Facebook group, and I will go back to those comments, ask you questions as they come along. If you do pop in to this live training, you will be muted, hopefully, if I've done it correctly. So any questions that you have, please put them in the chat box. I will refer to that chat box at the end of this training. It shouldn't be too long, so I would set aside maybe 20 minutes to watch this training, but please come back to me with questions. And in order to give you some practice on the platform, you might even find me on Instagram at Jenna Corelli and send me a message in my DM over there to ask me your questions. The more interactive you are on the platform, the easier it's going to come to you. It's really not that difficult. As with anything, there's a learning curve. So the more you practice it, just like sales calls, just like going live on Facebook, the better you get at it. So let's begin here. So we are talking about Instagram, and I just want to give you a little bit of statistics to persuade you, if you're not already persuaded, to move over into the Instagram platform. If you are not sure, none of us are sure if our audience is there until we give it a good trial and error effort, right? So Instagram is great for reach. We can reach more than 800 million people using the Instagram platform itself. This is just Instagram. I personally view Instagram as a separate platform from Instagram stories, and I'll get into that a little bit more in detail. For the purposes of this training, I want you to be using Instagram stories. I don't think you need to create a content calendar for your feed. I don't think it's important for our purposes. I want you using stories, which means your profile needs to be optimized and you need to have a story which gives you that circle highlight around your profile image once every 24 hours at minimum, right? I want you to always have a circle highlight there when people go and visit your platform. I want them to see that there's something new there for them to see and hear from you. So there are more than 800 million active users on a monthly basis and around 500 million daily active users. That is a lot. Now, there are more people over on Facebook, but we can still capitalize the reach that we can have on Instagram. And this next statistic will explain why Instagram is preferable over Facebook because of the engagement. The engagement on Instagram is much higher than the engagement on Facebook. So although you may be able to reach more people using Facebook, you can engage with more people over on Instagram, and we know that the more engagement we have, the more sales we make, the more long-term relationships are born and sustained. So engagement's really important, and on average, each day, there are more than 95 million photos and videos that are shared to Instagram. That's 4.2 billion likes on our Instagram feed in a single day. That's incredible. And Instagram is only growing, especially those of you who teach under the realm of health, wellness, self-care, and this can even expand to setting boundaries in business, setting boundaries in your personal life, setting boundaries in your relationship, the whole wellness, self-care boundary industries and every industry that complements. They are on Instagram and they are engaging very, very often. Instagram makes it really easy to share and engage, and that is why I want all of you using the platform. Also, traffic engagement. So if you will talk about your Instagram bio, but if you're linking to your website from your Instagram bio, website visitors from Instagram, statistics show they stay about 45% longer. So I think it's about 3 minutes longer than website visitors that come from Facebook. So important to understand. And the demographic on Instagram is female. I mean, obviously we know there are men on Instagram as well, but statistics do show that females use Instagram more so than men. So we also need to keep in mind who our audience is. And I never say, you know, if your audience is primarily male, I would still say use Instagram stories, give it a good 30, 60, 90 days and do some trial and error, because we can't just go by statistics. We can't go by what some other guru across the internet is telling us to do. We need to do our own research. We need to track our own analytics. Your Instagram profile is less about you and it's more about your audience. This is an example. I recently changed my profile to really focus on an event that I'm hosting in Tampa, Florida. So I am capitalizing on collecting leads who are going to purchase tickets for my event. That is why my profile currently says seeking visibility, collaborations, networking, and business connections. Join us in Tampa, Florida on February 2nd and 3rd. It's an event you won't want to miss. A lot of times I see people posting about, you know, maybe where you live is important, but the fact that you like cats or the fact that you like dogs, unless it directly pertains to your brand or you have an audience that are cat lovers or dog lovers, I wouldn't post about you. I wouldn't post so much about you. It's nice to be able to say I am a mom to Susie, Joe, Jeff, and John, but that's taking up your characters and you only have very limited amount of characters in your profile. So the profile is the very first place before stories, unless someone's mentioning and tagging you, which we can talk about, but the profile is the first place that somebody goes to see if they want to follow you or check out your stories. So if you do not capture your audience's attention, their eye with your profile words, then they're going to X out and they're going to go find somebody else. So it's less about you and it's more about your audience. So this is where you are giving your audience what you can do to help them. So this is where you can use an I help statement. You can say exactly what you do for somebody, speak to the outcome, speak to the benefit of working for you, or you can share what you've done. If you're in the wellness industry, I lost 40 pounds in 60 days, and now I help you do the same, right? Just be very specific as to who it is that you're talking to. And then also we need to add a call to action. That is, if you go up to the little settings, which is to the right of edit profile. Actually, I think it's edit profile. If you click edit profile, let me just open it on my iPhone to confirm. But I do believe it's just edit profile. Yes, if you click on edit profile, where it says website, you don't have to put the link to your direct website there. If you don't have a website, you can use a landing page. You can put an affiliate link there, but you need a call to action. And what this is going to help you do when you're in your Instagram stories is send people to that link so they can purchase from you or follow you somewhere else. So let's say you start using Instagram stories, but you have a Facebook group. Your Facebook group is very highly engaged, or maybe you're running a challenge on your Facebook group right now and you just want everybody over there, right? Your Facebook group is currently your hub. What I want you to do is put your Facebook group link right there in your Instagram profile. And when you're on your stories, tell people to go on over to my profile, click the link, because today inside my Facebook group, I'm talking about this. Tell them what the topic is. Tell them what time you're going live if you know. If you don't, tell them to go in there because you're going to be going live and they can watch the replay. That's your call to action. Everything needs a call to action. Everybody needs hand holding. Think about yourself when you're scrolling through Facebook, you're scrolling through a blog post that somebody wrote. You're not trying to think ahead, right? You're just reading. And if something piques your interest and the reader doesn't tell you that you need to click here to learn more, or the reader doesn't tell you that they're offering something free that you can get by clicking on this link, you don't know to do it. So you really need to tell your audience exactly what it is that you want them to do. What's that next logical step that they should take on the journey that you have them in, right? You're bringing them to your Instagram profile. You're bringing them to your Instagram stories. Where do you want them to go now? Why do you want them to follow you? Tell them in your profile exactly why they should be there, why they should follow you. Let me just touch again on your handle. I honestly don't care what your Instagram handle is. Right below where it says the amount of posts and followers I have, it says business consultant. Those are keywords that people can use to find me when they search Instagram. Just like you search Google, you search Facebook the same way to find keywords for groups. You can search my name on Instagram and it'll pop up because my name is in my handle. Or you can search business consultant on Instagram and I will pop up because business consultant is right there in that keyword section on my profile. So if your handle is your company name and it's not your name, I would suggest putting your name right there in that section where I have business consultant, so that if people know you by your name, they can search you and you will be searchable and you will pull up when they do that search. If you are targeting a specific niche and you're calling yourself a health coach, you might put your name - health coach. Be very specific as to who you want to be following you, and that will lead to more profit, more sales, more followers, more engagement. Now let's talk about Instagram stories. So here's a statistic. There are 300 million users that interact with Instagram stories daily. So this is your potential reach. If you've ever played around with the Instagram story platform, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner how many people are viewing your stories. You should be tracking those over time. How many views are you getting? We'll talk about adding stickers and, as you can see here, and adding hashtags to your post. You want to keep track. What hashtags are bringing more people to your Instagram stories? Because just like you can search keywords and hashtags to pull up somebody's Instagram feed, you can also search keywords and hashtags to pull up somebody's Instagram story. And not just keywords and hashtags, but also stickers and geotags. So those location geotags are really important, which we will get into as well. So keep in mind that if you're not using the Instagram story platform, you could potentially be missing out on 300 million users that interact with Instagram stories daily. I am one of them. I prefer Instagram stories over any other platform that I am on. I have a Facebook group. Yes, I have multiple because I do have people in my audience that like Facebook groups, but they kind of intertwine. I've got people on Facebook who also follow me on Instagram stories, and I engage more with those over on Instagram stories. I sell more through Instagram stories, which is why I am on the platform. That is my own analytics that I have tracked. And I believe that if you have not tracked those analytics, if you've not run an Instagram story campaign for at least 30 days to do your own research and trial and error, you may potentially be missing out on a lot of clients and followers and leads. Some things that you can use Instagram stories with that may not be recognizable initially if you've never been on the platform are hashtags. You can actually use up to 10 hashtags on a story. I don't like using hashtags like this image is showing, in that you can see all the hashtags that you're using, unless your hashtag is part of the words on the story text. They're telling the story, unless you're using the hashtag to tell the story. Because you can use 10 hashtags on a story, sometimes I use all 10 hashtags on the story, and I change the text to the color so that they blend in, so you can't even see that I'm using the hashtags. If I don't want people to know that I'm using them, I will hide them and I will change the color. That's a little bit more of an advanced strategy, but I can help you guys out on our one-on-one calls with that if you have questions regarding how to change the color or the style or the look of your Instagram story. For now, I just want you to start using the platform. Location tags also. So if you do tag the location that you're in, let's say your hometown, or if you know that you have clients who live in San Diego, tag San Diego, right? If you know that you have clients that go to Starbucks or even a certain Starbucks, tag that Starbucks in your geotag location when you're drinking your coffee, saying, I wish I was here, right? Make it an association, make it, something that makes sense with your story, but tag them. Location tags will come up in a city, state, or even a country's story, wherever that neighborhood is located. So it's not just the location that comes up. If somebody's searching the area, or if somebody happens to be in an area, our iPhones geotag us nowadays. So they will see your story over somebody else if you do tag that location. Also, if you know of any hashtags that are trending in your current audience, if you follow the news, I think somebody's mowing the lawn outside, so I apologize for that sound. If you follow the news or whatever, and in your industry there's a hashtag that's trending, start using that hashtag in your stories, because you will see your views, the views that show up in the bottom left-hand corner, you will see them go up. For me, I have a boxer dog. My dog is a boxer, and there's a hashtag that's Boxers of Instagram. So even though that has nothing to do with the brand that I'm in, I know that I could still capture some entrepreneurs or some people locally who might want to attend my event by using that hashtag. So I will put a video or a picture of my dog on my Instagram stories. I'll tag the hashtag Boxers of Instagram, and then the next couple stories after that, I will promote something, whether it's my event or something that I sell, to see who I can capture, because I'll have Instagram stories, maybe 200 people will view my stories, 200 people, and then the picture of the dog with the tag that says Boxers of Instagram gets 600 views, and then they start to drop off again as you go. So it's just incredible how these geotags and these hashtags can really target a specific audience. And then also, if you mention somebody within your Instagram stories, which is an exercise I will have all of us do, you can repost those stories. So if you are, I know one of us has a podcast interview coming up. I'm going to shout her out. So Sharon has a podcast interview coming up with Dana Malsteff, who is the Boss Mom, and she is incredible, and she's got a large following. So I was telling Sharon it would be beneficial for her to promote her podcast episode in her Instagram stories, tag Dana Malsteff, because when she tags Dana Malsteff, Dana receives a notification on her end that Sharon just tagged her in her Instagram stories, and Instagram gives Dana then the option to reshare Sharon's stories, her own stories. So think about Dana Malsteff, who's got this large audience, large following. If she were to share your Instagram story, all of her people in her audience who view her stories would then see Sharon's account and could potentially click over and start following Sharon. So this is how it works through the grapevine, right? Not everybody's going to reshare, but it is a strategy that you can use, and if you do it multiple times, you're promoting somebody else, and eventually they're going to get excited and want to reshare your content. So let's talk about, now my doorbell's ringing, let's talk about story content. What I want you to, because everybody's so worked up over content calendars, right? And I just hate content calendars. I don't think it is something you should be spending a lot of money or time on. You should not have anybody, especially if you are a startup business owner, you're bootstrapping a little bit, you're a solopreneur, or you have maybe one or two teammates. Do not have them create content calendars for you, because I think that is not where your money is best spent. I don't think that's the priority, right? Clockwork is a book that somebody wrote, and I have a connection to here locally, and they call it the Queen Bee role, right? The Queen Bee role in your business is the thing, the task that generates the most income. It is not going to be creating content, right? It's going to be executing upon the content that you create, forming relationships, getting people on the phone, whatever that is that generates sales. And creating a content calendar is not going to generate sales. So don't put too much thought into this. But if we're going to start using Instagram stories on the regular, I want you to know that you can, in your head, you don't have to plan this out. I want you to know that you should be sharing personal stuff. People want to know behind the scenes. They actually really end up buying from you because they first know you, like you, and trust you. So if you can show that you're a real person, you're not just some bot on the internet, then people are more likely to buy from you. So you can share personal things on your Instagram stories. You can promote things on your Instagram stories. If you are under 10,000 followers, you do not have the swipe up feature. You will not have the swipe up feature until you are at 10,000 followers or more. You don't need a business account unless you're running ads. So you can have an Instagram personal account. Your call to action on your Instagram stories is simply to say, or to type as text, click the link in my bio to learn more, and then make sure whatever that link is in your bio is reflecting what it is that you're promoting. So personal content, promotional content, I want you to have value in teaching pieces so you can actually flip your camera around, show people exactly what you're working on. If you're working on something for a client, show them what it is that you're working on that shows you're giving them, again, behind the scenes content into a business relationship with you. So personal, promotional, value in teaching, and then last is entertaining. A lot of people like to be entertained when they are watching Instagram stories. We're typically kind of tapping through at night, or we're tapping through because we're taking a break from our day in some way, shape, or form, or maybe we're at a party and we're just bored. We're tapping through our Instagram stories, so we want to add something that's entertaining there. You'll pick up on what your audience thinks is entertaining, but for the purposes of getting started, just do whatever entertains you. It can be a meme, it can be you sharing a funny thing that your kids said, I don't care. But these are really the three things: personal, value, and entertaining, that people come to Instagram stories for. And then just another little tip: if you are creating things for Instagram using something like Canva, it is the 9:16 dimension that fits an Instagram story. So how can we promote ourselves on Instagram stories? Like I mentioned before, podcast episodes. If you own a podcast, or if you are a guest on a podcast, tell your audience you're going to be on the podcast. Mention, tag the person's podcast that you're going to be on, because they will reshare that, which will bring followers to your account. You can promote live videos on other platforms. Just because you're on Instagram doesn't mean you can't say, hey, I'm going live on Facebook at 10 o'clock today, and tag the person you're going live with, tell them what you're talking about, click the link in my bio to join where you can watch, right? Promote yourself. Geotagging, like I said before, we want to geotag where we're working from. If you're working from a coffee shop, say, here I am. Here's a picture of my setup at the coffee shop. This is what I'm up to today, right? If you're working from the beach, hell yeah, tag that beach location and let people know that this is what you do on a regular basis, because you are the CEO, you are the boss of yourself, and this is where your office is today, right? Tell people that. If you're reading a book, or if you read books often, share the book that you're reading, share a page in the book, take a screenshot, post it to Instagram stories, and tag the author. They will reshare that because you are reading their book, and that's exciting to them. So in turn, they reshare, you gain followers from their audience. It is a beautiful thing. Podcast episodes, looks like I duplicated this. That is perfectly fine. So you guys get the point. Now, how can we help each other? How can we help each other? Number one thing that I want you to focus on, your primary role here with Instagram stories, if you're new to the platform, is to post one time per every 24 hours minimum. And Instagram story stays up for 24 hours. So I want you to have one there at all times. I don't want it to go away. So just make sure there's something there every 24 hours. If you're just going to post one per 24 hour, you might make it a promotional post so that you could potentially grab those leads. Or really put a lot of thought into it and make sure you use geotags, mentions, and hashtags, okay? Tag each other. We are here to help each other, to lift each other up. So I want you to share your Instagram platform within the Raisology. Sharon, I'm thinking about you. Within the Raising Influence Mastermind group, we can tag each other. We can engage with each other if we're asking for polls. Let's go help each other out. This is only going to help us become better at what it is that we do. And who knows, we might be interested in what each other does as well. And we might have referrals. This is great. Collaboration, partnership, all good stuff. Share Instagram posts. So if you do post to your feed or somebody posts something funny, valuable, engaging, entertaining to their Instagram feed, you can actually share their post to your Instagram stories. And then last but not least, within the Instagram story platform, you can use polls, questions, and you can engage with your audience. This is really important. The quicker you start engaging with your audience, the more they engage back, because you're conditioning them. You're conditioning them to respond to you. They know that when they come to your Instagram story platform, they can engage with you and you will respond back. So make sure you respond back. Here are a few tips. I think we're almost done. If we use video within our stories and we're just talking, so if I'm just on my story right now talking, blah, 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 I will recommend that you also type out, transcribe what it is that you're saying in the story before you post it, because there are people who do flip through Instagram stories and they are unable to listen to audio, or they're somewhere where they don't want to be listening to audio, so they can still get the value of the story by reading it in the caption. And if you have a routine, like a morning routine or an evening routine, or maybe you sell self-care products, use those products and showcase that on your story. And then if you use particular brands, you can tag the brands and that mentions them and they can reshare. And again, it's just this beautiful cycle of collecting new leads, referring other people, and we're all helping each other out, right? We all want to help each other grow our businesses. So that is the end of my little Instagram stories training. So I will make sure to post the replay in our mastermind group, and you can let me know if you have any questions. Bye, guys.